Hey Timothy, how you doing? I've got your work up here. Let me jump over here. Here's some of your two pieces, and then you have that other third piece that you submitted in Photoshop. So I want to take a look at the project specifications, the assignment specifications, and exactly what's due, and take a look at your submission to see how it corresponds with the actual requirements of the assignment. Okay, so I see the one thing I noticed first is that you're calling these your portfolio covers. And I think there's some confusion here. Okay, this is not a portfolio design cover that you're supposed to be designing for this week. This is actually the background pages. So what I would like you to do is I would like you to review a couple of things before. I would like you to resubmit, and this will all make sense in a second. But before doing so, there's a couple of things I want you to really review. This is one of them. In week 5 and 6, assignment 2. There's this, please follow these steps, and you can see what we have here. Okay, so basically what you have to do is these are due this week. Okay, these are from the actual requirement sheet. Your electives as well as your resume, business card, sample sheet, and other self-promo items. And then I've also given you these examples of background pages. And I say that because if you take a look at the assignment itself, it doesn't say design cover pages. It says basically design your background pages. For example, you will create a portfolio design. In other words, you need to design an introductory page and take that from take from that design and carry it through the entire portfolio. Okay, so that means you're designing your background pages. So that's what I was going through in those videos. The other thing I want you to review is I'd like you to go over here to the course homepage. And in that course homepage, you'll see all these announcements. And I really want you to take a look at everything from welcome to week 3 and 4, all the way up to submit early for critique. Okay, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Well, 1 is just a holiday break schedule. So there's 10 announcements there. Most of them have videos. So, and I really, really, really think, Daniel, that I'm not saying you haven't reviewed these. I'm saying that I think that further review would certainly help you understand the exact requirements and what the expectations are, both visually and textually, for the portfolio background pages. Let me show you an example of some good portfolio example pages. And again, this is in this please follow these steps announcement at the very top of assignment 2 for week 5 and 6. And I've got, here are some examples. Note the consistent typographic placement at the bottom of the page. So basically we have this page, and we have the description, page number and the description at the bottom of the page. Okay. The next page, and you can see the page number and description is identical on each page. So it's located on the same spot. You're describing the work on each page identically in the same spot on every page. This allows some good timing for the presentation. It allows the viewer to know exactly where to look for the pertinent information regarding each piece of work. And that presumably, of course, is the written text that you include. Okay, so I think that's a wonderful setup for a page. Let me show you another one. Let's show you. Let's take a look at this. This was a very good portfolio that was turned in last session by another student who has given me permission to share this with students. So this is the basic cover page here. Okay, note it's just the logo. That's it. Doesn't say hi, welcome to my super fantastic awesome portfolio. It just has the logo. Then the next page, we jump into just a little introductory quote. All right, and then we get into the stationery. Now, note, I'm going to flip through these pages really quick, and I want you to just keep an eye right down here and notice, see how the type does not change. It's located in the exact same spot, doesn't jump around. It's in the exact same spot on every page, and that is really assisting the viewer in knowing where to look for the pertinent information regarding each project. Okay, and then up here you note that everything is presented in these beautiful grids. 3x3 grid, 4x4 grid, or 4x2 grid, all the way across, and it's the same on every page. So really some fantastic consistency here in terms of the way that the grid is laid out in the presentation. is composed. Okay, and that is what I would like you to think about moving into this presentation. I'd like you to resubmit. Don't forget there are some things due this week. Specifically, if we go over here, we see our 4 electives are due this week, plus your personal identity. Resume, business card, sample sheet, other portfolio. And then, of course, in one of those videos, I added my recommendation saying that your personal identity should consist of a designer's stationery. That's stationery spelled with an E, and that means your resume, your business card, and your letterhead. So you'll hear it saying you design a resume, but what I want you to do is I want you to design a business card, a letterhead, and a number 10 envelope, okay? And then place your resume on your letterhead. Okay, let me give you an example. Okay, here's the letterhead, the blank letterhead behind. Then here's the resume placed on the letterhead. Here's the business cards. There's the number 10 envelope. And then here are your additional branding, self-branding examples. Okay, so I want to jump over to, and then your four electives. I mentioned those in those videos too. Try to pick something that, right now we'll look at it, but once we see your whole portfolio, we'll take a look to see if there are any deficiencies anywhere. And if there are, we'll address those in your electives. So in other words, if you're lacking a little bit in typography, we'll select some electives that show strength in typography. Hope that makes sense. Okay, so let me jump over to your work. And I want to talk first about, okay, so what you're doing here, this presumably is a portfolio cover. And I'm a little confused here as to what your branding is. So we're going to see your branding this week, but I'm not sure. Are you going with Quicksilver or are you going with your name as a designer? I recommend going with your name, but if you want to go with Quicksilver, that's fine too. So this, I'm not real sure what this exactly is. You typically don't include a contents page with a portfolio. So I'm just going to get rid of that. And let's take a look at these. Now, I think this page size is much more interesting than 8.5 by 11, but I do want to mention that again, you have this contents page, so we're not going to use that. And then this page, I just taking a look at your, excuse me, at your style here, and you're really doing a lot of visual things, and I think they're going to be harmful to the actual presentation of your work. Let me describe what I mean. You've got all these colors, you got your logo, you got this intelligent design for smart business, the page number, portfolio. Then you have these effects, drop shadows, bevel and emboss, and all of this stuff going on the page, which might be fun. It might be fun to design like that. I think it is, but it's not necessarily presenting the information in a clear and concise way for the viewer, specifically if that viewer happens to be a portfolio reviewer or eventually a hiring professional. So what we want to do is we want to clean these pages up as much as possible so there's not all these competing elements that will be competing with your work. Okay, and we can see that right here is that this color here, along with the pink, along with the decorative typefaces and the bold typeface here, these 3 stripes with the gradient background, as you can see, that's completely stealing the show from your work. The last thing that the viewer looks at on this page are these 4 pieces, while in reality, the first thing that the viewer should look at is these 4 pieces, because this is your work, and this is what you are presumably showcasing in this portfolio. Okay, so again, just want to jump over here and show you some examples again of these examples, so you get an idea of how clean these pages should be. And then I just want to jump back over here and show you again these samples here. Again, note how clean everything is. You got the text in the same place every page. And there's no other design elements that are trying to steal the show away from the actual work. You see, on this page, you have no choice but to look at the work because there's nothing else competing with it. Okay? Conversely, on this page, these are the last things we look at because there's so much else competing with it. Okay, so I'd like you to rethink the way you design your portfolio pages. I would like to see a redesign. I'd like you to repost. And in that repost, don't forget we have our requirements due this week, which are your personal identity and your electives. So be sure to get those. Now, you don't have to submit those on your portfolio background page that you're working out. You can submit those separately so I can take a look at those and get a good critique to you based on those 4 elective pieces as well as your personal identity system. Okay, so if you have any questions at all, please don't hesitate to contact me. But other than that, and let's just, if you would, drop me a quick note. Let me know this all makes sense and that you'll be working on your repost. Okay, that way I know that you got this and that things are making sense. If they're not making sense, please let me know and I'll clarify. All right, thanks very much.